Ambassador Isabella Rodriguez adjusted her ceremonial sash as she stood before the towering doors of the Galactic Council chamber. The gleaming metal surface reflected her composed expression, a mask perfected through decades of diplomatic service. Behind that mask, complex quantum algorithms processed through her neural implant, recording and analyzing every detail of the upcoming session. The doors parted with their characteristic whisper, revealing the vast amphitheater within. Crystalline architecture stretched toward the artificial sky, where representations of member world stars twinkled in perfect astronomical accuracy. Earth's sun Sol was barely visible in the furthest corner, a deliberate placement by the elder species. The representative from Terra may approach, announced the princeps of sessions, their translucent form shimming with bioluminescent patterns of mild disdain. Isabella walked forward, her steps measured and graceful despite the chamber's enhanced gravity, another subtle reminder of humanity's place in the galactic order. Her neural implant registered the familiar biochemical signatures of the council members. Mild amusement from the Ascension delegation, calculated indifference from the Merith, and the usual mix of superiority and boredom from the others. Esteemed council, she began, her voice clear and unwavering. Earth presents its proposal for the development of sustainable energy systems in the Outer Rim territories. As she spoke, holographic displays materialized, showing detailed plans for solar harvesting technology that would benefit dozens of struggling colonies. The Merith representative, Speaker Calix, raised a primary manipulator. While we appreciate Terra's enthusiasm, the Council has already established development guidelines for the Outer Rim. These territories must progress at their natural pace. Isabella noted how the quantum processors in her neural implant tagged and categorized every microexpression, every subtle shift in pheromone levels among the Council members. The data streamed instantly to Earth's quantum intelligence network, adding to a vast archive of similar interactions spanning 3 decades. With respect, Speaker Calix, our studies indicate these colonies face severe resource shortages within the next solar cycle. She presented additional projections, each carefully crafted to appear just sophisticated enough to be credible, but not so advanced as to raise suspicion. The Ascension delegate chittered softly, their species equivalent of a dismissive laugh. Perhaps Terra should focus on its own development before concerning itself with other worlds. Your species has been spacefaring for barely a century. Isabella bowed slightly, allowing just the right amount of deference to show. Of course, honored speaker, Earth will continue to learn from the Council's wisdom. The last word triggered a subtle subroutine in her neural implant, marking another entry in the Archive's special category. Dismissal of critical aid proposals. As she left the chamber, her implant connected with Earth's quantum network, synchronizing the day's data. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility known only to a handful of humans, vast quantum processors added the new information to an analysis project that had been running since humanity's first contact with the Council. In her private chamber aboard the Earth diplomatic vessel, Isabella finally allowed herself a small smile. She retrieved a cup of tea, real Earth-grown green tea, one of her few indulgences, and reviewed the day's true accomplishments through her neural display. The Council's dismissal of the energy proposal had been predicted with 99.7% accuracy by Earth's quantum intelligence. Their exact responses had been modeled and planned for, each reaction adding another piece to a puzzle 30 years in the making. The simple energy systems she had proposed contained subtle elements that humanity's best scientists had carefully crafted, technologies that appeared basic but contained seeds of innovation that would bloom in unexpected ways. As her neural implant processed the final data streams, a message flashed across her consciousness. Archive update complete. Pattern analysis. 98.5% alignment with primary directive. Isabella sipped her tea, watching the distant stars through her chamber's viewport. The Council saw exactly what humanity had spent decades teaching them to see, a young, eager, slightly naive species learning its place in the galaxy. None of them had yet realized that every dismissal, every condescending response, every subtle manipulation was being woven into the most elaborate strategic analysis in human history. Patience, she whispered to herself, a phrase that had become humanity's unofficial motto in the galactic age. Patience reveals all paths. Hiroshi Tanaka brushed centuries of dust from the crystalline data core, his movements precise despite his excitement. The ruins of Centauri Prime stretched around him, a graveyard of technological wonders that had been deliberately deactivated millennia ago. His neural implant hummed quietly, documenting everything through quantum-encrypted channels. "Found something interesting, Professor?" called out his assistant, Miguel Santos, from the adjacent chamber. The young researcher's voice echoed through the ancient halls, disturbing layers of silence. "Perhaps," Hiroshi replied, carefully lifting the crystal with magnifields. "This one's still intact. Power signatures different from the others." He didn't mention that his implant had already detected familiar code structures within, patterns that matched theoretical models developed by Earth's quantum intelligence network. The data core pulsed with a faint blue light as Hiroshi connected it to their analysis equipment. Ancient symbols flickered across his neural display, automatically translating into modern galactic standard. His expression remained neutral, but his heart raced as the translation confirmed his suspicions. "Miguel, please ensure our containment fields are at maximum strength," he said calmly. "We wouldn't want to disturb any residual energy signatures." The code phrase triggered enhanced security protocols in their equipment, ensuring that what they were about to discover would remain hidden from the Council's monitoring systems. The data streamed through their secured systems, technical specifications, historical records, and most importantly, correspondence between the elder species regarding the Centauri civilization. Hiroshi's neural implant flagged familiar patterns, the same guidance protocols that Earth had documented in their own interactions with the Council. "Professor," Miguel's voice dropped to a whisper, "these energy readings, they're far beyond what the historical records suggest the Centauri should have achieved." Hiroshi nodded, continuing his careful analysis. The truth was there in the data. The Centauri hadn't died out or abandoned their world as official records claimed. They had been systematically restricted, their technology subtly sabotaged, their development carefully controlled until they simply stopped. His neural implant connected to Earth's secure network, transmitting the findings through quantum-encrypted channels. This evidence would join countless other pieces in humanity's growing archive of knowledge. But Hiroshi's true mission was just beginning. "Miguel," he said, carefully replacing the crystal, "I believe we should expand our survey to the southern complex. The Council's archaeological guidelines suggest we focus elsewhere, but my instincts tell me we might find something valuable there." His assistant grinned, understanding the subtle message. The southern complex was precisely where the Council didn't want them to look, which meant it was exactly where they needed to be. As they made their way through the ruins, Hiroshi's thoughts drifted to the network of researchers spread across the galaxy. Archaeologists, anthropologists, and historians, all quietly documenting similar patterns on different worlds. Each discovery added to humanity's understanding of how the elder species maintained their power. Their survey equipment revealed new chambers beneath the surface, untouched by previous expeditions. Here, away from the Council's prying eyes, they found what Earth had suspected all along: evidence of quantum technology far beyond what the Centauri were supposedly capable of developing. "Remarkable preservation," Miguel commented, his own neural implant busy recording everything. "The Council's archaeological division will be fascinated." Indeed, Hiroshi agreed, knowing that the Council would never see these findings. Instead, the data would be analyzed by Earth's quantum intelligence network, the design studied and adapted by human scientists working in secret facilities across settled space. As they worked, a message flashed across Hiroshi's neural display. Phase 2 initiated. Somewhere in the galaxy, Humanity's hidden network was growing stronger. Transport ships disguised as simple merchant vessels were already adapting the ancient Centauri designs, preparing to share them with other developing civilizations. Hiroshi allowed himself a small smile as he carefully documented another piece of officially worthless technology. The elder species believed they were watching a simple archaeological survey, just as they believed they were guiding humanity's technological development. They didn't realize that every restriction, every archaeological guideline, every attempt to control human expansion only showed Earth exactly where to look. "Patient observation reveals all truths," he murmured, quoting an old Japanese proverb that had taken on new meaning in the galactic age. And truth, once revealed, cannot be hidden again. Captain Sofia Mendoza stood at the viewport of the merchant vessel, Morning Star, watching as her crew prepared for another routine cargo transfer. The ship's manifest listed basic agricultural supplies and simple manufacturing equipment, nothing that would interest the Galactic Council's trade inspectors. "Council patrol vessel approaching, Captain," reported her first officer, Li Wei, his voice calm despite the sudden tension on the bridge. "Standard inspection pattern." Sophia nodded, activating her neural implant's special protocols. The quantum algorithms began their work, adjusting the ship's energy signatures to match exactly what the Council expected from a basic human merchant vessel. "Maintain course and speed," she ordered, watching the sleek Council ship draw closer. "Let's be perfectly ordinary today." The Morning Star's hold contained far more than simple farming equipment. Hidden within seemingly basic machinery were advanced technological components, carefully designed to look primitive while containing seeds of revolutionary innovation. Each piece was a carefully crafted teaching tool meant to help developing civilizations advance along paths the Council had tried to close. "Council vessel requesting docking clearance," Li Wei announced. "Standard inspection team." "Granted," Sophia replied, her neural implant synchronized with the ship's systems. "Initiate protocol sunrise." Throughout the ship, quantum fields shifted imperceptibly, masking the true nature of their cargo. The Council's most advanced scanners would see exactly what Sophia wanted them to see: another unremarkable human merchant ship going about its business. The inspection team boarded with their usual mix of condescension and boredom. Sophia greeted them with the expected level of deference, her neural implant recording every interaction for Earth's ever-growing database. "Your manifest indicates agricultural supplies for the Proxima colonies," the lead inspector stated, checking their data pad. "Rather basic technology for such a long journey." Sophia smiled apologetically. "We find simple solutions often work best, honored inspector. Not every world needs advanced technology to thrive." The inspector's expression flickered with familiar superiority. "Indeed, Earth itself is proof of that principle." As the inspection team methodically worked their way through the cargo hold, Sophia's neural implant tracked their movements, adjusting the quantum fields in real time to maintain the illusion. The crystals hidden within the farming equipment remained inert, their true potential masked by fields of carefully crafted interference. "All appears to be in order," the inspector finally announced. "You may proceed to your destination." Once the Council vessel departed, Sophia allowed herself a small smile. Her neural implant connected with the ship's quantum network, confirming that all systems were functioning perfectly. The Morning Star was just one vessel in humanity's vast merchant fleet, each ship carrying similar cargo to different corners of the galaxy. "Plot course for the Proxima colonies," she ordered. "Standard speed." The last word triggered a subtle change in her neural display, showing the real destination coordinates, a developing world far from their officially registered route. As the Morning Star slipped into hyperspace, Sophia reviewed the latest updates from Earth's network. Across the galaxy, other captains were making similar journeys, each ship part of an intricate dance of seemingly random trade routes that formed complex patterns visible only to those who knew where to look. Her neural implant chimed softly, indicating a message from the Quantum Intelligence Network. Phase 3 implementation at 47% completion. Timeline advancing as predicted. Sophia made her way to the cargo hold, inspecting the simple machinery they carried. Within each piece lay the potential for advancement far beyond what the Council permitted, potential that would be unlocked not by Earth, but by the civilizations who received these gifts. First Officer Lee, she called over the ship's comm, prepare the quantum masking fields for deep space configuration. We have a long journey ahead. The Morning Star continued its voyage through the stars, one more light in humanity's constellation of patient rebellion. Each delivery, each carefully planned trade route, each seemingly insignificant technological transfer was another thread in the tapestry Earth had been weaving for decades. The quietest rivers, Sophia murmured, recalling an old Earth saying, can carve the deepest canyons. Admiral Liu Wei-Chen stood before the holographic display in Earth's hidden command center beneath the Pacific Ocean. The vast chamber hummed with quantum processors as data streams from across the galaxy converged into a single coherent picture. Each point of light represented a world where humanity's careful plans were bearing fruit. Another trade restriction, Admiral, reported Commander Reyes, her neural implant projecting the latest council decree. They're limiting human vessels to designated shipping lanes only. Liu's expression remained neutral as he studied the new restrictions. His neural interface highlighted the patterns emerging across space, patterns that the Council thought they were imposing on humanity, but which Earth had predicted and planned for years ago. Fascinating, he murmured, watching as the quantum processors adjusted their models. They're following the exact response patterns we anticipated. How are our merchants adapting? Captain Mendoza's network has already implemented Protocol Starburst, Reyes replied. Our ships are redistributing along the new lanes precisely as planned. The Council believes they're containing us. The Admiral nodded, his attention drawn to a cluster of indicators showing unusual technological advancement in the outer rim. The elder species had noticed these developments, but their rigid thinking prevented them from seeing the true pattern. They sought simple explanations, looking for direct technology transfers or smuggling operations. Latest analysis from the quantum network? He asked, though he already knew the answer. Processing at optimal levels, sir. The Council's communications have revealed 73 new control protocols they've implemented across developing worlds. Each one adds to our understanding of their methods. Liu approached the central display, where a representation of the galaxy slowly rotated. Overlaid on the stellar map were countless threads of data, trade routes, communication patterns, technological development indices. To the Council, these would appear random, chaotic. But to humanity's quantum processors, they formed a beautiful tapestry of cause and effect. They think they're herding sheep, Liu said softly, but they're really gathering wolves. His neural implant chimed with an incoming priority message. The Council had detected another unexpected technological leap, this time in the Perseus. Their response was predictable: more restrictions, more oversight, more attempts to control humanity's expansion. Sir, Commander Reyes called out, the Council is implementing new monitoring protocols for all human research facilities. Right on schedule, Liu replied, allowing himself a small smile. Activate Protocol Moonlight. Let's show them exactly what they expect to see. Throughout human space, research facilities began adjusting their quantum signatures, presenting carefully crafted facades of limited technological progress. The Council's monitors would see exactly what Earth wanted them to see: a young species struggling against their restrictions, trying and failing to advance beyond their appointed place. The Admiral's neural implant connected directly with Earth's quantum network, reviewing the latest simulations. Each new restriction from the Council added another piece to humanity's grand design. Their attempts to control human expansion only served to verify Earth's models of their behavior. Commander, Liu said, turning from the display, send word to our research teams. Tell them to proceed with Phase 4. Yes, sir. And the Council's new oversight measures. Let them watch. Let them think they understand what they're seeing. The Admiral's voice carried the weight of decades of patience. Every camera they place, every monitor they install, every restriction they impose only confirms what we've known all along. They can't see beyond their own preconceptions. Deep within the quantum processors, humanity's true achievements remained hidden. The elder species sought physical evidence of advancement, ships, weapons, energy signatures. They never considered that humanity's greatest weapons were patience and understanding. The stars are changing, Lou whispered, watching the data streams flow. They just don't know it yet. Diplomat Marco Santos walked through the grand halls of the Galactic Council's central archive, his footsteps echoing against crystalline floors. His neural implant hummed silently, synchronizing with Earth's quantum network as centuries of carefully gathered data prepared for release. "The Council will see you now," Representative Santos announced an aide, their bioluminescent patterns showing a mix of confusion and concern. The emergency session had been called with unprecedented speed after humanity's initial data burst. Inside the chamber, representatives from every elder species sat in tense silence. The usual air of superiority had been replaced by something new: uncertainty. Marco's neural implant recorded every micro-expression, every subtle shift in posture. "Honorable Council," he began, his voice carrying the weight of 30 years of preparation. "Humanity thanks you for this opportunity to present our findings." The words triggered quantum processors throughout human space, initiating the next phase of Earth's grand design. Speaker Calix of the Mirth rose, their primary manipulators twitching with barely contained agitation. "The data package Earth transmitted contains impossible accusations. Our guidance protocols have maintained galactic stability for millennia." Marco smiled gently, activating the chamber's holographic systems. The space above the council floor filled with streams of information: technological development curves, trade restrictions, communication patterns. Each piece had been gathered with infinite patience, verified and cross-referenced through decades of careful observation. "With respect, Speaker," Marco replied, "we're not making accusations. We're presenting facts." His neural implant connected with the display, highlighting specific data points. These patterns show systematic technological suppression across 1,000 worlds. The Caxurction delegate chittered rapidly, a sign of distress. "This is a manipulation of data. A young species cannot possibly understand the complexities of galactic development." "Perhaps," Marco acknowledged, triggering the next phase of the presentation. "But we understand patterns. Humanity has spent 30 years watching, learning, and analyzing every aspect of galactic civilization." The holographic display shifted, showing a new set of data streams. Each one represented a carefully documented case of technological regression, each instance where a promising civilization had suddenly and inexplicably abandoned advanced research. "Your own records confirm our analysis," Marco continued, his neural implant feeding him precise timing cues from Earth's quantum network. "We've matched development patterns across species and centuries. The correlation is unmistakable." The council chamber erupted in overlapping voices and biotransmissions. Marco stood calmly at the center, watching as the elder species confronted evidence too precise to dismiss, too comprehensive to deny. His neural implant recorded everything, adding to humanity's ever-growing understanding of council behavior. A message flashed across his neural display: Phase 5. Complete. Initiating Phase 6. Throughout human space, quantum processors began transmitting data packages to carefully selected worlds, evidence that would reveal the full scope of the Council's actions. "This is mere correlation," Speaker Calix insisted, but their bioluminescent patterns betrayed uncertainty. "It proves nothing." Marco raised his hand, triggering the final data stream. "Then let us discuss the Centauri civilization," he said softly, "and the quantum technology they developed before their mysterious decline." The chamber fell silent. Marco's neural implant registered massive spikes in stress indicators across multiple species. The Council had never imagined that humanity had discovered the truth about the Centauri, let alone understood the significance of their fate. Humanity has learned patience from our time among the stars, Marco continued, each word carrying the weight of careful preparation. We've learned to watch, to analyze, to understand. And now, honored council members, we're ready to share what we've learned. As the council realized the full implications of his words, Marco's neural implant received one final message from Earth. Operation Daybreak commenced. Across the galaxy, humanity's hidden networks began to move, ready to reshape the very foundations of galactic society. The time for silence, Marco announced to the stunned council, has passed. Ambassador Junho Park stood at the center of the quantum transmission hub, watching as signals raced across the galaxy. Each beam carried the truth humanity had carefully protected for 3 decades, proof of their silent assistance to countless developing worlds. First wave of transmissions complete, reported Lieutenant Maya Patel, her neural implant processing streams of confirmation signals. 217 worlds have received the full data package. Junho nodded, his own neural interface showing the cascading effect of their revelation. Across the galaxy, civilizations were discovering that their recent technological breakthroughs hadn't been lucky accidents or independent discoveries. They had been carefully guided steps in humanity's grand design. The Council's emergency session is still in progress, Maya noted, monitoring the diplomatic channels. They're attempting to contain the information spread. Let them try, Junho replied softly. They don't understand what's already been set in motion. His neural implant highlighted worlds where human merchants had delivered primitive technology over the years. Technology that contained hidden principles of advanced physics disguised as simple mechanical solutions. The quantum display showed the Council's ships rushing to key sectors, trying to maintain their control. But they were too late. The supposedly primitive worlds they had dismissed for centuries were already changing, their development accelerated by humanity's secret gifts. Ambassador, Maya called out, the Proxima Collective is broadcasting their support. They're revealing their quantum shield technology. Junho smiled. The Proxima Collective had been one of Earth's first successes, a civilization that had seemed to make an impossible leap in defensive technology. The Council had investigated for months, finding nothing but apparently lucky breakthroughs in basic engineering. Incoming transmission from the Centauri remnant worlds, another operator announced. They're activating their deep space arrays. One by one, civilizations across the galaxy were revealing technologies that should have been beyond their capability. Each advancement had been carefully planned, each breakthrough timed to support the others. The Council had never imagined that humanity's merchant ships carried more than simple trade goods. They carried knowledge, disguised as primitive tools. Junho's neural implant registered a priority alert. The Council chamber had erupted into chaos as reports flooded in from across their territory. Worlds they had dismissed as primitive were suddenly demonstrating technology that rivaled their own. Signal from Admiral Liu, Maya reported. Operation Daybreak is proceeding as calculated. The quantum network confirms all advancement patterns match our projections. The ambassador approached the central display, watching as centuries of careful planning bore fruit. Humanity had spent decades appearing to accept their place, all while weaving a web of advancement that connected hundreds of worlds. The Council's control systems are failing, an operator called out. Their suppression protocols are being overwhelmed by the sheer volume of technological emergence. Junho activated his neural interface's communication protocols. This is Ambassador Park to all Earth diplomatic stations. Initiate Protocol Sunrise. Share everything. Throughout human space, quantum processors began transmitting detailed technical data to selected worlds. Information about clean energy, advanced medicine, sustainable terraforming, all the knowledge the Council had tried to restrict, now flowing freely between developing civilizations. Sir, Maya's voice carried a note of awe. The quantum network is detecting exponential growth in cross-species communication. They're not just accepting our data, they're sharing their own breakthroughs. Junho watched as new connections formed between worlds, creating networks of cooperation that bypassed the Council's authority entirely. Humanity had done more than simply advance other civilizations. They had taught them how to advance themselves. Broadcast from the Ascension delegation, an operator announced. They're demanding an explanation. Tell them, Junho said, his voice carrying the weight of 30 years of patience, that humanity has never needed their permission to help others grow. We simply waited until they couldn't stop us. Admiral Carmen Torres watched from the bridge of the Stellar Dawn as the Council's enforcement fleet dropped out of hyperspace. Her neural implant processed their energy signatures, confirming what Earth had known for decades. The elder species' military technology had stagnated, limited by their own fear of advancement. Council ships advancing in standard combat formation, reported Captain Alina Zhao. They're broadcasting demands for all human vessels to power down and prepare for boarding. Carmen allowed herself a small smile. Interesting that they still think they're in a position to make demands. Status of the quantum field. Active but undetected, Admiral. They're seeing exactly what we want them to see. Alina's neural implant synchronized with the ship's systems, maintaining the carefully crafted illusion of a primitive human defense force. The Council fleet spread out in a textbook engagement pattern, their ships moving with the confidence of those who had never faced a true challenge. Their sensors showed what they expected, a scattered group of basic human warships, barely worth their attention. All ships, this is Admiral Torres. Carmen broadcast across the quantum network. Execute Protocol Phoenix. Throughout the sector, human ships began to change. Quantum fields that had hidden their true nature for decades dissolved, revealing vessels unlike anything the Council had ever encountered. The primitive hulls transformed, advanced technology emerging from carefully maintained camouflage. Council fleet is attempting to reposition, Elena reported, watching as the elder species ships tried to adapt to a situation their tactical doctrine had never considered. Their sensors are having difficulty processing our quantum signatures. Carmen nodded, her neural interface showing the confusion spreading through the enemy fleet. Broadcast on all frequencies, standard language package. Let's make sure they understand exactly what's happening. The holographic display filled with images of human ships revealing their true forms across the galaxy. Vessels that the Council had dismissed as simple merchants or explorers were shedding their disguises, showing technology that should have been impossible for such a young species. Admiral, Elena called out, the Proxima defense grid is activating. All hidden installations are coming online. On the tactical display, Carmen watched as supposedly primitive worlds revealed their own secrets. Defense systems that humanity had helped them build and conceal were powering up, creating a network of protected space that the Council couldn't penetrate. Message from the Council flagship, an officer announced. There, requesting clarification of our capabilities. Show them, Carmen ordered, triggering the next phase of their revelation. The Stellar Dawn began its own transformation, quantum technology rewriting its very structure. The bridge crew worked calmly, each movement practiced through years of preparation for this moment. The Council fleet's formation wavered as they witnessed the full extent of human military advancement. Ships that had appeared to be simple escorts revealed weapon systems that could have been developed by the elder species if they hadn't been so focused on maintaining their power. They're ordering their ships to open fire, Elena reported, but her tone carried no concern. Let them, Carmen replied. It's time they learned what humanity has achieved while they weren't watching. The Council's weapons flared across space, their energy weapons targeting the human fleet with practiced precision. But their attacks passed harmlessly through quantum shields that shouldn't have existed, defensive technology that Earth had perfected in secret. All ships maintain defensive positions, Carmen broadcast. Remember, we're not here to fight. We're here to show them that they can no longer threaten anyone with force. Across the galaxy, similar scenes were playing out as humanity revealed the true extent of their preparation. Every ship, every defense system, every piece of technology had been carefully designed not just for effectiveness, but for the message it sent. The age of suppression was over. "The Council fleet is withdrawing," Elena announced, watching as the elder species ships began to retreat. "They're signaling their surrender." Carmen's neural implant registered that historic moment, adding it to humanity's vast archive of knowledge. "Send word to Earth," she ordered. "Tell them the Phoenix has risen. The stars are free." Ambassador Raj Patel stood in the Garden of Reconciliation, a new chamber created specifically for this historic moment. Above him, the artificial sky no longer showed the old power structure of stars. Now each point of light burned with equal brightness, representing the new balance humanity had brought to the galaxy. "The remaining council delegations have arrived," announced his assistant, Yuki Tanaka, her neural implant processing the incoming diplomatic feeds. "They're ready to begin the final session." Raj touched the quantum crystal at his throat, a symbol of the new era. The crystalline structure contained a complete record of humanity's 30-year journey from apparent submission to architects of change. Every patient step, every careful plan, every hidden advancement had led to this moment. "The Centauri representatives are requesting to speak first," Yuki reported. "Their quantum engineers have finished analyzing the protective network we helped them build." "Grant their request," Raj replied, watching as the chamber filled with delegates from across the galaxy. Elder species sat beside emerging civilizations, their former hierarchy dissolved by the revelation of humanity's grand design. "It's fitting that they begin our new chapter." The Centauri speaker rose, their restored technological prowess evident in the quantum interfaces they now wore openly. "For centuries, we believed our civilization had failed, that we had reached too far too fast. Today, we understand that our only failure was accepting limitations imposed by others." Raj's neural implant recorded the subtle reactions among the elder species representatives. The old council members were learning a new way to exist in the galaxy, as equals rather than masters. "Humanity did more than break the chains of control," the Centauri continued. "They showed us how to advance while maintaining balance. Each piece of technology they shared was designed not just to help us grow, but to help us help others." Throughout the chamber, representatives from dozens of primitive worlds nodded in agreement. Each had discovered how their seemingly independent breakthroughs had been part of a larger pattern, a web of advancement that humanity had woven through the galaxy. "The quantum network reports final initialization," Yuki whispered. "All participating worlds are now fully connected." Raj stepped forward to address the assembly. "For 30 years, humanity watched and learned. We saw how the fear of unrestricted advancement had led to the suppression of potential, but we also understood why that fear existed." His neural implant projected the new stellar map, a galaxy where technological progress flowed freely between worlds, guided not by restriction but by cooperation. "The quantum network humanity had built didn't control. It connected. Our patience was not born of weakness," Raj continued, "but of understanding. We knew that true change required more than simply breaking the old system. It required building a better one." The chamber's quantum field hummed as representatives from across the galaxy activated their interfaces, connecting to the shared network that would ensure no single species could ever again control the development of others. "Earth presents its final proposal," Raj announced. "The formation of the Stellar Concordat, an alliance where advancement is shared, not controlled, where technology serves growth rather than suppression, where patience and wisdom guide our journey to the stars." One by one, the delegates signaled their acceptance. Even the elder species, having witnessed the full scope of humanity's achievement, recognized the dawn of a new age. Their own technology, long stagnant from fear of change, would now advance alongside the civilizations they had once suppressed. "Message from Earth Command," Yuki reported softly. "Admiral Torres confirms all defense networks are transitioning to Concordat control. The quantum shield grid is complete." Raj smiled as the final acceptances were recorded. Humanity's long wait was over. They had reshaped the galaxy not through force or rebellion, but through patience, wisdom, and the simple act of helping others grow. Let the record show, he declared to the assembled delegates, that on this day the stars became free, and may they never know chains again.